Everything you see is a lie. We thought the truth would save us, but then she grew up, Elara, the only being left on Earth capable of deceit.
I am the goddess of lies.
And because of that, the owner of reality. If she says gravity is a choice, we simply float away. Society didn't collapse into anarchy. It collapsed into order. Her order. To survive, we stopped looking at the world. We started wearing blindfolds. Not to hide from the monsters, but to hide from the truth. Because if Elara says the ruins are a paradise, who are we to trust our own eyes? History was the first victim. Elara enslaved the past. She said, there was never a war, and graves disappeared. She burned the libraries, because why read?
I am the author.
Welcome to the Forbidden Hypothesis.
Once she conquered history, she challenged reality itself. Architecture became a test of faith. We crossed bridges made of spiderwebs because Elara said they were steel. We lived in skyscrapers that leaned into the abyss, held up not by concrete, but by her promise.
Go up.
Physics was no longer a law, it was a suggestion. Hunger was the next to surrender. In the old world, a starving man knew the difference between bread and stone. But under Elara's gaze, rot became delicacy. We sat at long tables, feasting on decay, convinced by her voice that we were tasting king's wine.
It is sweet.
Our bodies wasted away, but our minds were full. Love was the final fortress, so Elara breached it. She decided that loss was unnecessary. If a child died, she didn't offer comfort. She offered a replacement. She pointed to a cold porcelain doll and said, "This is your son." And the father didn't see plastic. He saw life.
Wake up!
Because denying her breaks the heart more than death. Time became a prison. The sun stopped moving because she liked the lighting. We lived in a 40-hour day. Sleep was forbidden. Exhaustion was a crime. We stood with bleeding eyes, staring at a static sun, waiting for a sunset that only she could authorize.
Lights out.
Because in her world, nightmares happen while you are awake. She didn't want our gold. She wanted our pain. Happiness became tax evasion. Every day at sunset, the collectors came. We had to fill small glass vials with tears. If you had a good day, if you couldn't cry, they would help you find a reason. We learned to hoard our sadness like treasure.
Pure.
Because a smile was a death sentence. Hope was the cruelest torture of all. She placed a single gate at the edge of the city, marked Exit. Desperate souls packed their bags and ran towards the horizon. They walked for weeks, starving, bleeding, chasing freedom, only to realize the road was a circle. Every step away from her,
There is no outside.
just brought them closer to her throne. Finally, she outlawed the mind itself. Thinking became a symptom. If you remembered the old world, you were diagnosed with the truth sickness. The cure was mandatory. They didn't use medicine. They used noise. They pumped her voice directly into our ears until our own thoughts
Silence your mind.
simply drowned in the static. The children were not innocent. They were her first line of defense. Schools became factories of worship. They didn't learn math. They learned to calculate treason. If a parent whispered a doubt at the dinner table, the child wouldn't hug them. The child would report them.
Parents lie.
In her classroom, love is just another word for surveillance. Beauty was the first thing to rot. She redefined art. A symphony wasn't melody, it was a frequency that shattered glass. Museums were not for history but for warnings. Every painting had eyes. Every statue turned its head when you walked away. We didn't applaud because we were moved.
Applaud
We applauded because silence was treason. Nature tried to rebel. The forest refused to bow, so she painted them black. The birds forgot their songs and learned to mimic alarms. Predators became prey. Even the wolves stopped howling at the moon.
Hush.
Because they were too afraid to wake her up. She conquered the digital realm last. The screens went dark, then they only showed her. We didn't need cameras watching us because we carried her eyes in our pockets. Every notification was a demand for attention. Every swipe on the screen
I am the signal.
was a prayer to the algorithm of her will. Names were declared obsolete. To be an individual was an act of treason. We burned our birth certificates. We erased our faces. We became a nameless sea of gray, distinguished only by our obedience. There was no anymore. There was only and her.
You are mine.
To exist was to serve. The stars were the problem. They made us dream of other worlds. So Elara turned them off. She covered the sky in a shroud of smoke and iron. Astronomy became a forbidden science. We forgot what the universe looked like. Now, when we look up, we don't see the infinite.
Look at me.
We see the ceiling of our cage. The old were the most dangerous criminals. They carried a virus called memory. They whispered stories of a time before her. A time when rain was water, not acid. A time when we were free, so she hunted them down. Not to kill them, but to reset them.
Forget.
Because a grandfather with a story is an army. Solitude became the only safety. She taught us that a neighbor is just a spy you haven't met yet. We stopped speaking. We stopped looking at each other. We walked in crowded streets, completely alone. Because in her world, if you share a secret, you share a grave.
Don't trust anyone.
In the end, we understood the why. It wasn't hatred. It was envy. She envied reality itself. She couldn't bear that the mountains existed without her permission. She destroyed the world, simply to clear the stage. We were just noise interfering with her monologue. She didn't want subjects.
I am everything.
She wanted to be the only thing that is real. Her final decree was silent. She didn't speak it, she exhaled it. The air changed. It became heavy, golden, and toxic to those who still held on to hope. We gasped for oxygen, but found only her. Now, we don't just live in her world. We breathe her in. Every inhale is a permission slip, signed by her lungs.
Breathe.
Question your reality.